Everybody like and subscribe and praise the bell icon. Story number 1.
Every Halloween, the residents of Ashfield Street went all out. Fake blood splattered across lawns, motion-activated screams from porches, and jack-o'-lanterns flickered late into the night. But everyone avoided one house, the old Miller place at the end of the block. No one had lived there in years, not since the Halloween of 1998, when a family of 4 vanished without a trace. That year, a group of high school seniors decided to break in. They said they were filming a YouTube video, but really, they wanted to prove the rumors were fake. The house was still filled with the Miller family's things, plates still on the table, Halloween decorations half finished, candy spilled on the floor. It was as if they just disappeared mid-celebration. One of them, Jason, noticed something strange on the old tube TV in the corner. It was turned off, yet faint static flickered across the glass like a heartbeat. When he leaned closer, the screen flashed for half a second. Not static, but a reflection. He saw the group behind him, except there was someone else standing in the middle of them. Someone tall, wearing a cracked pumpkin mask. The others laughed when he told them, blaming nerves and dust. But then, their flashlights began to flicker. A low hum vibrated through the walls, and the air turned cold enough to see their breath. In the darkness, they heard the sound of footsteps upstairs, slow, heavy, dragging footsteps. Jason called out, but no one answered. Then the TV snapped on by itself, showing grainy footage of a family, the Millers, carving pumpkins, handing out candy, laughing. The tape glitched, and suddenly the father looked up from the TV screen, straight into the camera, mouthing words they couldn't hear. When Jason turned up the volume, the only sound that came through was whispering. Dozens of voices whispering the same phrase over and over. He never left. The back door slammed shut, every window locked with a loud metallic click. Their flashlights died all at once. One girl screamed, and when Jason swung his light toward her, she was gone. No sound, no struggle, just gone. The air felt heavy, like something enormous was breathing in the dark. When police found the house the next morning, only Jason was there. He was sitting in front of the TV, whispering to it. His nails were bloody, his eyes blank. The other 3 were never found. The footage on his camera ended abruptly with Jason turning to the lens, grinning, wearing a pumpkin mask. Every Halloween since, kids swear the Miller house lights up again for one night. You can see silhouettes moving inside, 4 of them, carving pumpkins by the glow of a static-filled TV. And if you stand too close to the window, sometimes one of them looks up at you and grins through the glass.
Everybody like and subscribe and praise the bell icon. Story number 2.
Every Halloween, the small town of Meriton held its famous Haunted Streets Festival, an all-night celebration where people dressed up, the lights were dimmed, and the whole town turned into one big haunted house. For locals, it was just a fun tradition, but for newcomers like Emily, it was a chance to finally feel part of the town after moving there a few months earlier. She worked at a small bakery near Main Street and had just closed up when she decided to take a shortcut home through the festival. The air was thick with fog, music, and laughter, but under it all was something off. The laughter didn't sound right. It was too sharp, too sudden, like someone pretending to enjoy themselves. The costumes were strange too, people covered in dirty sheets, pale faces that didn't look painted, and eyes that didn't seem to blink. At first, Emily thought the town had gone all out this year. But when she passed a group standing motionless in the middle of the street, she noticed something that made her stop. One of them was holding a jack-o'-lantern, but inside wasn't a candle. It was a flickering light that looked like a phone screen, flashing a name across it. Her name. Emily Collins. Incoming call. She froze. Her phone wasn't ringing. When she looked up, the group had turned their heads toward her, their faces pale and rubbery like wax. One of them opened their mouth and mimicked her voice perfectly. "You shouldn't have come out tonight." Emily ran. She darted through alleyways, weaving between crowds of costumed people, but no one reacted to her panic. They just stared, silent, as if the fun had drained out of the night. She reached an old side street she didn't recognize, lined with houses that looked abandoned. Then her phone buzzed in her pocket, finally ringing. It was her mom's number. She answered, breathless. But it wasn't her mom. It was her own voice whispering, They found me last year. The call cut out. The streetlights flickered, and suddenly she could see dozens of faces in the windows, people wearing her exact costume. Same jacket, same mask, each one smiling too wide. She backed away slowly, heart pounding, until she tripped over something on the ground. It was a police barricade. Behind it, a sign read, "Street closed. Accident site. October 31st, 2022. The date sent chills through her. That was last year's Halloween. The year a woman named Emily Collins had gone missing on her way home from work. Her phone slipped from her shaking hand. The screen lit up one last time, flashing a message across it. "Welcome back, Emily." The next morning, the festival cleanup crew found a phone lying on the ground near the barricade. No one knew who it belonged to, but those who walked by swore they saw a girl in the fog that night, standing behind the caution tape, smiling, holding a glowing jack-o'-lantern that whispered names into the mist.
Everybody like and subscribe and praise the bell icon. Story number 3.
It was Halloween night in 2019 when a small town in Illinois experienced something they still refuse to talk about. The annual neighborhood party was in full swing, kids in costumes, jack-o'-lanterns flickering, and laughter echoing down Maple Street. That year, a new house on the corner had gone all out with decorations. The owners, a quiet middle-aged couple who had just moved in, had transformed their front yard into a haunted graveyard with fog machines, skeletons, and blood-red lights. No one in the town really knew them, but everyone was impressed by the effort. As the night went on, trick-or-treaters started noticing something odd about that house. The bodies hanging from the porch looked too real. One teenage boy swore he saw one of the props twitch, its hand moving just slightly when the wind was still. He told his friends, but they laughed and dared him to go closer. He crept up the path and noticed that the fake blood dripping from the porch was still wet. It smelled metallic, like rust and something else, something human. Inside the house, faint music was playing, and through the windows, he could see silhouettes moving. Thinking it was a haunted house setup, he rang the doorbell. No one answered. The door creaked open by itself, and he heard a voice whisper, "Come in, you're just in time." When he stepped inside, the smell hit him first, rot, iron, and something burning. The decorations inside were disturbingly realistic. Severed limbs hanging from hooks, masks made of what looked like stretched skin, and blood smeared across the walls. Then he realized the props weren't props at all. They were people, real people. One of them was still breathing, eyes wide, mouth gagged, shaking violently. He ran out screaming, tripping over a pile of bones at the doorway. Neighbors thought it was a prank until the police arrived hours later and discovered the truth. The couple who owned the house were nowhere to be found. But what the officers found in the basement made several of them quit the force. There were 8 bodies, partially preserved, dressed in Halloween costumes. Each one had a carved pumpkin placed over their head, with candles still burning inside. A 9th body, freshly killed, was sitting upright in a chair at the center of the room, its stomach slit open and filled with candy, as if it were a grotesque piñata. The house was sealed off, and the investigation went cold after a few weeks. The couple's car was found abandoned near a forest 2 states away, doors open, lights still on, but no sign of them ever again. Every Halloween since, residents claim to see faint lights flickering inside that abandoned house. Sometimes, they hear music playing softly through the broken windows, the same haunting tune that played that night. And every year, one pumpkin appears on the porch, lit from within, with candy placed neatly in front of it. No one dares touch it, because the one time someone did, the next morning, they were found in their living room, their stomachs slit open, filled with candy.
Everybody like and subscribe and praise the bell icon. Story number 4.
It happened on Halloween night, 2017, in a quiet neighborhood in Ohio. Most houses were decked out with fake cobwebs, plastic skeletons, and glowing pumpkins. Kids in costumes roamed the streets, laughing and yelling, "Trick or treat!" But on the corner of Maple Street stood a small, dark house with no decorations. The curtains were always drawn, and no one ever saw who lived there. Locals called it the Black House, and every year, without fail, someone dared to knock on its door on Halloween. That year, it was 3 teenagers, Eli, Marcus, and Rachel. They were bored after hitting most of the houses and wanted to end the night with a story to tell. Marcus, always the loud one, bragged he'd knock, while Eli filmed it for proof. As they approached, the air felt colder, heavier. The front yard was dead quiet, the grass overgrown and blackened. The windows were so dusty they looked painted over. There wasn't even a porch light, just the faint sound of wind moving through the gutters. Marcus knocked 3 times. Nothing. He smirked at the camera and knocked again, louder. That's when the door creaked open on its own. Inside was pitch black, but there was a faint smell like damp soil and something metallic. Rachel whispered that they should leave, but Marcus called out, "Trick or treat!" A moment later, a voice answered from inside, soft and childlike, "Come in." Eli lowered the camera, whispering, "Dude, someone's in there." But Marcus, laughing, took a step inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind him, and the porch light flickered on, just once. Eli and Rachel screamed and tried to pull it open, but it was like the door was welded shut. Inside, they could hear Marcus laughing, then shouting, then silence. They called the police, who arrived 15 minutes later. When the officers tried the door, it swung open easily. The house was empty. No furniture, no lights, nothing. Just dust and cobwebs everywhere. There was no sign of Marcus. Eli swore he'd heard him yelling, but the police found nothing. No footprints, no signs of struggle, nothing but a faint patch of mud in the center of the living room floor. The next morning, the house was gone. Completely gone. In its place was an empty lot. The police said they had no record of any house on that property for over 20 years. 2 weeks later, Marcus's mother received a small brown package on her porch. There was no return address. Inside was Marcus's phone. The last video on it showed him walking into that same house, only now the footage continued past what Eli saw. The door closed behind him, and the camera captured him turning toward the darkness. A small, pale figure of a child stood there, smiling, its eyes completely black. It whispered, "You shouldn't have come," before the screen distorted with static. The police never found Marcus, but every Halloween since, someone reports seeing a faint orange glow on that corner lot, like a porch light flickering for just a second. And if you listen closely, you can hear a boy's voice whispering, "Trick or treat," just before it disappears. Locals say if you follow that light, you'll see the house again. But if you step inside, you won't ever leave.